Just want to negotiate on that. They don't want to negotiate with a gun to their head.
I'm sorry.
This is the one area, this is the one time in which the Democrats, who do not have power in Congress right now, actually have a little bit of leverage. They do have power.
Yo, what's up? Let's get into this latest Abby Phillip segment where they really go at it. You're about to watch some Republicans make some really terrible arguments. Just trigger warning. Here we go.
The government shutdown is about to get worse. Tonight, panic is setting in for tens of millions of Americans who are now at risk of losing critical food assistance. The Department of Agriculture has warned that the money that funds the SNAP program, better known as food stamps, will run out by this Saturday. And the Trump administration is saying that it will not tap into emergency funds in order to pay for it. SNAP provides aid to low-income families, seniors, people with disabilities, so that they can afford groceries. And it's a key pillar of the social safety net. Nearly 42 million Americans rely on SNAPs, or about 1 in 8 people. It provides an average monthly benefit of $188 per person. Now, the shutdown has dragged on for 27 days now, and it's on track to being the longest ever, if lawmakers can't come up with a solution to reopen it, even though most are not even in Washington anymore.
I don't know what the Democrats are doing other than publicity stunts, but I can tell you the House Republicans are doing some of the most meaningful work of their careers. So I don't want to pull them away from that work right now when their insight and their counsel and their assistants and those of their staff, who, by the way, aren't getting paid soon, that is most essentially needed right now back home.
Republicans are doing their most meaningful work of their careers while they're not even in Washington, D.C. What? Mike Johnson is such a weasel.
You know, this is the shutdown that could very well just not end because nobody seems to be that interested in ending it. But for Americans who are on SNAP, this weekend is going to be where they're going to have to face the reality that, honestly, $188 in this economy is not even a whole lot of money for food, but it's going to go away.
I mean, luckily, we have the money to bail out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. And by bailing out Argentina, of course, the Trump administration is helping to bail out the hedge funds invested in Argentina. It's not a good look when the Republican Party won't concede on the one thing that's important here, which is add the subsidies to the Affordable Care Act so people's health care premiums don't double. And that's it. That's what the Democrats are asking for. But Republicans refuse to sign on to that. And if we're going to keep having this dysfunctional government situation or congressional situation year after year, I mean, they're still collecting my taxes. Why are they collecting my taxes? For what? And what's the important work that Mike Johnson is doing right now and the Republicans are doing right now? Does anyone know? I mean, there's some Republicans on the panel right now. Can you guys tell me the important work they're doing?
All Republicans want is for Democrats to do what Democrats have demanded others do time and time again. What Democrats themselves have done, vote for clean CRs.
Do you think that premium should double?
Do you think premium
should double?
The premium that your party chose to have subsidies
This is a product of the Democratic Party's own doing.
Should the premiums double?
And now they're looking and they're trying to point the finger at the Republican Party.
It's a simple question. Should the premiums double?
Should they open up the government? The answer is yes.
The government will
open up the government,
if they
we can get
give
into
the
those
Democrats the
negotiations.
one thing they're asking for, which is a just issue.
You want to
just
talk
issue
about
to
premiums,
fight for.
and we just talked about SNAP benefits. Who cares about health care when you cannot put food on the table? You have millions
SNAP
of
benefits
Americans.
are important too.
You have a lot of Americans that are going to be without food stamps.
So you want the
because of
Democrats to sign on to funding the government
And this is why
in a situation in which the premiums will double
we want them to do what they've committed to do time and time again. What is the difference? What is the difference of the bill? What is the difference for the bill that you voted for? What is the difference?
There is a big difference.
This is the new Democratic Party.
I have to say, it's amazing to get lectures on how much you care about SNAP benefits.
Because I have family members on SNAP.
Well, then why did you support the president when he asked for and got $186 billion of cuts to SNAP?
They were cleaning up the program from waste, fraud, and abuse.
Oh my
you
God,
and I both
that
know
is
that.
all ridiculous.
Because you cannot
people
have a program.
Go hungry
No.
From those
straw man's argument.
No,
you cannot have
those people. I'm sorry. You just paid for 186. You took $186 billion out of the SNAP program. $186 billion that will go
waste, fraud, and abuse.
It's not waste, fraud, and abuse. It will. You like to say that, but it's actually false.
Look at what we actually
took the money, and you
but this
took
is
the money
the overall problem. What you're mad about is the passage of one big beautiful bill. You guys have to realize that elections have consequences, and your side lost.
Hold on one second. Just on the waste, fraud, and abuse point. over the last 15 years, SNAP fraud has fallen from 4% to 1%. So there's already very little fraud in the SNAP program, according to the government.
$180 billion is a lot more.
Dude, the Pentagon hasn't
but
passed
look,
a single
regardless
audit.
of that, regardless of that, I mean, people who are on the program right now are going to not have benefits. I think it's interesting because the Trump administration says, you know, there's $6 billion in the emergency fund. $8 billion is needed to cover the month of November. They're saying that they can't use that money because that money needs to be set aside for, you know, hurricanes and other emergencies. But they've been willing to move money around for all
Yes, for
kinds
our
of
troops.
other
Abby.
reasons. Well,
For aviation safety.
all kinds of other.
Abby.
They've been willing to move money around for
Democrats
all
can't
kinds of
pass the
other
buck.
reasons.
No.
The question is, why not this one?
You-
Tara, let me
I
let
just
Tara
think
have a
that
moment.
we have to all acknowledge that these are political games that are being played by both sides.
Of
okay?
course, it's politics.
The
A
clean
Democrats could
CR
open
is
the
not a
government
game.
tomorrow, but they are using an old Republican tactic of closing the government to have leverage right now.
Who closed
okay?
the government?
And
This
it's
is the
a strange
Democrats who
thing.
closed it.
Okay, but they are doing it for leverage. And
Who?
The
The Democrats are.
Republicans realize that the Democrats are not
You have the
folding,
number
so
two
now
in the
they are
House.
withholding SNAP
You have the
benefits,
number
which
two
they could
House
also
Democrats
do-
saying that this is a
Okay,
leverage
in
play.
Harrison,
In
just one second.
2018, they had the same
It's
risk.
2025.
You just let
No,
her
in
finish for just a second.
2018, they had the same risk of losing food stamps, SNAP benefits, and they went into another reserve to cover it during Trump's longest shutdown. Okay?
And that was the Trump
And
administration.
so the point is that both are withholding funds.
You all
and
are
aid
ignoring-
and ability.
you all are
If they would
ignoring-
just sit down and actually
So
talk
let's
through it,
let's
having this
just address what
conversation
she
at all.
said because she's arguing, and I think there's good reason to believe that obviously there are political games being played here. Democrats are keeping the government shut down until they get concessions on health care. And the Trump administration, which in the past has used other funds to cover SNAP benefits, is not doing it now. Why?
Okay, we have to step back for a moment. The Democrats have been getting rolled for the past 9 months by the President of the United States. They haven't had an answer for how to get after what the President has been doing, his historic agenda. So now they have their rally around the flag moment. We're going to stick it to Trump. Who they're really sticking it to is the American people. They're holding this government hostage for
I just
what?
want to let's just
If you
address.
open
let me
up
address
the
question
government,
that
we
I
can get to
asked
these
you.
negotiations about
No.
SNAP.
Let me re-ask you the question that I asked you, which is that we know that the Trump administration of the past has been willing to use other funds to cover SNAP benefits. We know that the Trump administration of present has been willing to use other funds to cover other emergency needs for people that need to be paid. Why will they not do this on the issue of food on the table for children under 5, children 5 to 17,
very clear of who's gonna be impacted.
adults over 60 years old, people with disabilities? I mean, is the answer as simple as they're not going to give Democrats anything, and maybe they think that this is going to
Abby,
hurt Democrats more?
If
That's
you open
exactly
up the
right.
government, guess
That's
what
exactly
happens?
right.
But-
People get SNAP
but
benefits
I
again.
know-
You're pointing
again,
the finger at the President
I'm
of
not
the United
pointing the
States
finger at
when
the
it's the
President. I'm just
Democratic Party
asking
that is
whether-
holding the government
Listen,
hostage. Who came out today and
Tara's a
said this
journalist,
shutdown
so
has
she's
to
able
end?
to sort of put the politics
The
on the
Federal
table.
Workers
You're
Union
not
said this has to
acknowledging-
end.
You're not willing to acknowledge that politics is at play here. Is
What
it at
I'm
play?
saying is that the Democrats are playing politics with this shutdown.
Yeah,
Have
well,
Republicans done it
Yeah,
in the
both
past?
sides are playing politics. This is very
1000%.
clear.
Granted, hold on one second.
We
Granted,
need 4
hold on one
Democrats
second,
in the
Harrison.
Senate. 4.
Granted, the Democrats are playing politics with the shutdown.
With American
they
people's
They are
lives.
playing the very same shutdown game that Trump and Republicans played in his first administration. on
Are
several
we dealing with the
occasions.
shutdown of 2018?
But now you're
Hold on
playing the
a
one
second.
about
Let's
it,
talk
right?
about
You're
today.
playing
I'm
the
just
one
saying,
about
these
it.
are political games. Hold on a
Okay.
second.
But you know
No,
what?
no,
The
you
people
just-
on
you
SNAP
just hold on a
benefits
second.
don't care about
I'm
that.
asking you.
They don't care about it.
Will you acknowledge that the withholding of SNAP benefits in this moment is something that Trump doesn't have to do?
The administration can look at many ways to solve this problem. Look at what they're doing for our troops. Look at what they're doing for aviation safety. Is there a way to do it? I bet you Secretary Rollins is
Yes,
looking at it.
there- so
but the
there is.
one
Okay,
thing
We are the richest country in the history of the world. Don't forget that. This guy's own brother received SNAP benefits, and here he is defending cuts that would make others receiving those same benefits ineligible for them.
I appreciate that.
Can you acknowledge that if the Democrats open up the government, we don't have to have a conversation about
Can I
SNAP?
just make a point
Hold on
here?
one second, everybody. Just a second. Let me just say, I appreciate that you acknowledge that There are options on the table. They're not being utilized.
If you could acknowledge that the
but
Democrats can open up the
secondary-
government and this problem won't be a problem.
literally
You
just
don't
said
think that one
The
concession to
secondary-
Democrats is okay? Like just
It's not-
one
it's not
concession,
just
which is
one
the
concession.
subsidies for the
No.
Affordable Care
Not
Act,
to
so
show-
premiums
to hold
don't
up this
double.
entire
That's
government?
the one thing they're asking for.
When we got people on
One thing.
furlough?
One
No.
thing.
Hold on,
No,
let me just
because we
can
know
I
what
just-
this
No,
actually is
because we
about.
love that premiums
Because
are going to
you're mad at-
double.
because
We
you're
love
mad
it.
that
We
we
love it.
passed
Let
one
all
big,
these
beautiful
Americans
bill.
suffer.
I think we're really sad
Go
about
ahead.
guys.
Can I just say how I predict this will end? This will end. I'm not sure who will wave the white flag first. I doubt it will be Trump, but he will end up giving the concession of the subsidies. He's already said it. He knows
Yeah,
that it's
Yeah.
impacting
Why not do it
everything.
now?
He
So
said it. Mike
this is
Johnson
all
has said
about-
it. They've all said
If you
that they're
open up
going
the
to
government,
deal
you
with
can
the
have
What's
this
subsidies.
ridiculous,
conversation.
honestly, is that Trump has said it's an issue. Mike Tillis has said it's an issue. Senator Tillis has said an issue. What they're really negotiating at this point, basically Thune and others
It's
are
the
basically
timing.
let's
No,
keep
it's
the
the
government
timing.
No,
closed.
let me
Let's
answer
keep
the
the
negotiation.
timing. This is the negotiation over timing.
What the
It's
Democratic Party is
ridiculous.
doing, they're doing the equivalent of
No.
a guy down at the Port Authority bus stop putting a gun to your head and saying, "Give me your money." That's what a shutdown is. It's brinkmanship. It's forcing a negotiation.
We're here today.
And I guarantee you would have said it's wrong if they do it. My two friends would say it's wrong. All we're asking Democrats to do is what Democrats said they should do time and time again. They voted for the clean CR 13 times. This is not new. They can vote for the CR. They can take the gun out of the head of the American taxpayers.
let me just
They can
say,
take the gun out of the head of the 42 million people that are getting.
I've asked this a couple of times because I just think that let's just put ourselves in the position of a regular human being, American, just out there living their lives. They want to be able to have the government do what their tax dollars are asking them to do. I think that both sides are overestimating the degree to which anybody cares who is responsible, who will be blamed.
100%.
I agree.
If there is an issue of their premiums going up, they would like that issue resolved. That's what the polling says. And they don't care whether it happens after somebody claims victory because the government is reopened or not.
So to your point, I don't think they care.
I'm just saying, if I'm a regular person, they're asking why, if you're going to do it anyway, why not just do it now?
Wait.
Can I just ask?
So wait, hold on. Point stipulated. I don't think the average American cares which side is doing it. That's why it's so fundamentally stupid that the Democrats are continuing to harm this many Americans.
not that-
This many Americans who not only will have their food stamp benefits cut, but even the Americans that will have their ACA subsidies. The Republicans
Joe,
want to
no,
negotiate on
there's
that.
one
They don't
Joe.
want to negotiate with a gun to their head.
I'm
This
sorry.
is the one
I'm sorry.
area, this is the one time in which the Democrats, who do not have power in Congress right now, actually have a little
They
bit
do
of
have
leverage.
power.
Here's what's actually happening. These Republicans are claiming that Democrats voted for a clean CR 6 months ago, a bill that simply keeps things the way that they are. But everyone knows, including these two yahoos, that current levels already includes massive cuts to government programs like SNAP and Medicaid and Medicare, okay? So when they say, let's just vote for this Queen CR, what they're really saying is let's lock in all of those egregious cuts that we already made. And the way that they twist this into making it seem like it's the Democrats who want people to go hungry, it's depraved. It's depraved. The Democrats are the ones who actually are fighting to protect SNAP benefits in this situation. And they're fighting to protect health care. And they're using the only leverage that they have in this moment, which is to say, no more. We will not budge. We refuse to continue to go along with this. Neera Tanden is absolutely right. It's a clean CR in name only. In substance, this thing is
Holding up the
right.
government.
Because of the government funding
Let me
bill,
let
yes, this
Neera
is the
have
one
a
area where
quick
they have
last word,
leverage.
and then
they
I
have
no one
to
trusts that the
move on. Go
Republicans
ahead.
are actually going to
I
learned
pass
something.
I listen to
legislation.
Joe, and there's really one answer that could solve both the SNAP benefits and the premium tax
You open
credit.
up the government.
The truth is, you could just have an agreement.
Exactly.
Which is what increasing senators like Lisa Murkowski recognizes, that basically having Russ
But she's
Vought
also
cut
said
things.
open up the
but
government.
also, Tom Tillis said, let's do a 2-year negotiation. Let's do 2 years for the premium tax credit. So the truth is, there is a simple strategy here, which is they could resolve in a day. But Republicans and the president are not engaged in this battle, and they are just letting all this happen. And
I just
people
want to make
flag
engaged when they
for
pass
it.
the
one
bill.
quick note. I mean, and Neera, you understand this. The largest union representing federal employees says it's time to cut this out.
And the truth
that's gonna be pressure on Democrats.
I
for
will
sure.
say, I actually think what they said is right. We should have a clean CR, a clean
Whoa.
continuing resolution.
My God.
But we don't have that.
Christmas miracle.
No.
We do
You
have
guys
that.
are wrong because the difference between
We agree.
this CR,
Can you
this
let her
difference,
finish
could
for
you
just
just
a
let me
second?
finish? The difference between this CR and every other past CR is this president goes behind the back to just cut whatever he wants. So the truth is, you can't even make a deal
Chuck Schumer
because
voted for this CR.
Russ Vought will just and then afterwards we started having Russ Vought just cut willy-nilly. So for the dignity of the Senate and for the House, they actually have to come to an agreement on funding the government, which means Russ Vought doesn't just get to do whatever he wants.
All right.
That's the big difference between this CR and every other one.
Well, that was rough. Our two Republican friends kept interrupting incessantly, making it almost unbearable to watch, in my opinion. It almost made me miss Scott Jennings there. I hate to say it, but I miss his smug face compared to these two guys. That was intense. I hate to say it, but this type of selfishness seems typically Republican, where they view the world and what is good for them. And if it immiserates others, I don't really care about that. When they say they want to reopen the government without condition, what they actually are saying is they want to reopen the government on their own terms with all of those cuts in place. And it's not even clever framing. It's just brutish, brute force bullshit. And choosing to not do anything is a choice by the Republicans, and it leaves families without food and seniors without affordable health care. I guess that's what they want. But these guys are perfectly fine watching people suffer. A truly clean bill would protect the social safety net we already have. This one dismantles it. And to put a finer point on it, they keep invoking this nonsense about waste, fraud, and abuse to justify these cuts. But the members do not lie. 186 billion in cuts over 10 years to SNAP represents about 20% of the total SNAP benefits. Meanwhile, verified waste, fraud, and abuse studies say that it's only about 1% of the budget that falls in the VAT category, 1%. So they're cutting 20 times what they claim is being wasted. Fucking bullshit, you know? It means 1 in 5 people could lose access to food assistance. And what? For a bigger budget for the defense? You know, for lower taxes for the ultra wealthy? It makes no sense. This one was intense. Like this video if you made it this far, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.